Now, we're coming up to the end of Mental Health Awareness Week, and here on Out of Doors, of course, we're big proponents of incorporating physical exercise into your day-to-day. We know it can have huge benefits, not just for the physical, but also for your mental health.
Now, in celebration of that, Phil Syme caught up with our old boss, Jeff Zycinski and Marie Law from the Partnerships for Wellbeing charity in Inverness, who have organised a walking and wheeling festival alongside 30 partner organisations in the city.
Well, Phil, here we are on Ness Islands, which tells you something about the history of walking in this beautiful city, because people have been walking here in this location since Victorian times. But these days there are so many more groups that organise walks, and we ourselves at Partnerships for Wellbeing have been organising walks for 20 years. But in those 20 years, so many more groups have developed for both walking and cycling, and this festival is about bringing all those groups together, showcasing what's available and really celebrating Inverness as the perfect city for walking, wheeling, cycling and active travel.
So do you necessarily have to be a keen walker to be involved in this festival?
Absolutely not. This is not for your professional walker or even your lycra-clad cyclist. This is for people who want to incorporate walking and wheeling into their everyday lives. And some people might say to themselves, oh, well, I'm not a walker, but they have some other interests, say photography, or an interest in the history of Inverness, and you can incorporate walking into those pursuits. And what the festival is doing is bringing in those kind of groups to say, well, why not go on a history walk or a archaeology walk, or walk along the Caledonian Canal to find out about its history as well, or even join a ghost walk, a creepy ghost walk in the centre of town as well.
Marie, you've managed to quite incredibly get over 30 walking and cycling organisations involved in this festival. How important has that collaborative approach been?
I think it's really important because it's getting everybody together, so they're all those groups are able to network with each other, and these are things that are already happening. We haven't started anything new, we're just bringing it together to show this is already going on in Inverness. You can get involved, and as Jeff's already mentioned, you don't have to be super fit. We've got a buggy walk for people with small children. We've got a ramble, a mobility scooter ramble alongside the canal. We've also got opportunities for people to try Nordic walking. There's a specific one for people perhaps with Parkinson's disease as well. So, we're really trying to make sure that there's something for everybody and to make it inclusive and, not for people not to be put off and thinking, I'm not fit enough to do that. There's something for everybody.
Jeff, you'd mentioned that we're down the islands just now. We can hear the bird song around us. We can hear the wind gently blowing through the trees. We've got the water just coming down either side of us. Give us an idea of some of the different routes that people will take.
Yeah, this is, I love it. It's one of my favourite locations as well. I always describe it as being like Narnia, especially when the snow falls and the Victorian lamp standard is just beside it, glowing nicely in the winter time as well. But the new walks, there's maps available now that will tell you how you can get from one end of Inverness to the other. The new active travel routes can take you all the way from the Caledonian Canal all the way up to the new campus, Inverness UHI campus. From there all the way up to Culloden as well, from the Caledonian Canal right all the way to Dochgarroch. And there's new paths being developed all the time, and that really is a multi-agency approach. It's all these groups from the council, from British Waterways to Sustrans, Scottish Government, all investing in Inverness as a perfect city, a perfect livable city, I think, for people who enjoy getting outside. And also, let's not forget the health benefits of walking, Phil. What we have showcased on our website at wafest.com is how walking can deal with so many health conditions and actually reverse some health conditions that people have as well. And it's, as Professor Nanette Murtry of the University of Edinburgh says on our website, it's the best bang for your buck in terms of, it really is, in terms of physical exercise. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to join a gym. You don't need special clothing. And as well as being good for your health, you can make friends as well. So loads of reasons to discover Inverness, to discover all the paths, and just get out there. And as we say, we're happy to stroll and we're ready to roll.
And if you ever had any doubt about it, I think you've sold it beautifully there. Marie, we're coming to the end of Mental Health Awareness Week. In terms of what you're doing as part of this festival, how does that tie in with mental health?
Oh, absolutely. If you think of the walking groups that Partnerships for Wellbeing organise themselves or support themselves, they've been so important, particularly during COVID, where people were isolated at home. That's your perfect example of how getting out is good for just meeting new people, as you just mentioned, about being out in nature, hearing the birdsong, hearing the trees rustling in the breeze and whatever. So absolutely, really, really good for your mental health. And whatever it is you're doing or how slowly you're doing it, if you're outside, you're getting all those benefits at the same time.
And also good for creativity, Phil, as well. I mean, we're ending this festival after 8 days with a special event involving the author Shona MacLean. Now, she's talking about how walking and cycling is really important for her in her creative process as she develops plots. And if you go all the way back to Wordsworth and Dickens, or even the horror writer Stephen King, you will know that they incorporate walking very much into their creative process as well. So get physically better, get mentally better, and get creatively better as well.
Producer Phil there, or PPs we like to call him, chatting with Jeff Zycinski and Marie Law, and the Walking and Wheeling Festival launches later today. Forgot about Walter Scott.
Of course.
Walter Scott used to walk miles and miles and miles and miles.
Well, we know that it's good for you.
Yes, so they say. Yep. You're listening to Out of Doors here on BBC Radio Scotland. I'm Mark Stephen, sitting comfortably.